So I'm going to whiz through the slides so that hopefully you'll have some opportunity to ask me some questions. And I should say I'm doing a double act here with Nicola, who's going to talk about the child death, the changes to the child death reviewing. Right, quick background. So what we have at the moment is the Local Safeguarding Children Board. So that was established by the Children Act back in 2004. It sets out the remit, what it should do. In Tower Hamlets, we've had an LSCB, a Local Safeguarding Children Board, since 2006. So it took most areas about 2 years to get up and running. Does anybody know what was there before the LSCB? No? ACPCs, Area Child Protection Committees? Sound familiar? Anyway, so we're in the second stage and we're moving into the third stage soon, and I'm going to talk about that. So what the LSCB currently is, it's a multi-agency statutory partnership group. It's independently chaired, so there's independent scrutiny there. As I said, the 2004 Children Act sets out the roles and the remit of the LSCB. However, we're now 12, 13 years along now down the road, and back in 2015, end of 2015, the government asked Sir Alan Wood to review the LSCBs right across the whole of England. That's what he did. He was actually the Director of Children's Services over the road in Hackney. But he ended up doing this big piece of work. He consulted with a number of people around the country and concluded that although LSCBs, there is a need for some kind of arrangement, that LSCBs in some ways is not really effective as it could be. So it's an opportunity to basically change the way things are done locally. So the Wood report basically recommends that LSCBs are abolished completely. That's what he decided. The government responded and said, we agree with Sir Alan, we're going to completely get rid of LSCBs. And so they did so through the Children and Social Work Act, which was published last year. It abolishes the LSCBs and introduces the new safeguarding partnership arrangement. And essentially what that does, it does a number of things, but one of the main changes is that it shifts the responsibility for safeguarding on a single local agency. So under the LSCB, it was a local authority who had the duty to ensure that there was such a thing, but now it's shifted to, and it's shared across the local authority, the police, local police, and CCG. So that's what we've got. And as a result of the Children and Social Work Act, there's a lot of references to the LSCB and they're working together, so that's all been changed, and that was published, I believe, in July 2017. Don't know if you've seen it, it's worth looking at, obviously, in a bit more detail than often we get the opportunity to, but there's a whole new section for designated health professions in there as well. At the time of the Working Together 2018, when that was published, they also published the guidance around how things are going to transition. There's some additional information around serious case reviews and child death reviewing, but also they updated information sharing, the guidance. So not a lot of people often know about that last one, so it's worth checking out. So the new Children and Social Work Act basically says that the safeguarding partners, so that's the tri-partnership, CCG, local authority and the police, must make arrangements to have to work with other relevant agencies to have a safeguarding arrangement locally in Tower Hamlets. And I'm carrying too many things. Right. Okay. So bear with me. So I won't go too much into that, but that's basically it. There isn't a lot of information about what it's going to do, because that's the thinking that's happening at the moment. So what we've done since the publication of the Children's Social Work Act is we've had an independent come into Tower Hamlets and work with us to look at what kind of model our preferred model, I suppose. And that was led by Keith Makin, who's actually a chair of an LSCB. I think he's the chair of Merton, he's the chair of Southampton, he's the chair of Nottingham, a number of other places. And he's consulted with a number of people, included all the partners that sit on our LSCB board. And that took place on the 25th of September this year. And there's a project group that's now leading on the transition. And what we've got to do is by the 29th of June next year, we've got to publish what our new arrangements look like. And by the 29th of September, we will be ceasing as an LSCB and we'll go live in this new way. Now, sort of $1 million question really is, so what's going to be the difference between the two? And I think that's what we're trying to work out, and we're trying to talk to as many people as possible. I should say that when we talk to the partners, so most of you here, GPs, you'll be represented at our board by the shared named GPs. Dr. Emma Tukmaki, not here? No? Dr. Helen Jones? See it back. So at that board meeting, the partners basically agreed with some of the initial thinking, and what they've agreed is that in Tower Hamlets, so basically the Children Act says that when we publish what our new arrangements is going to be, we need to also state who the relevant partners are. That's going to consist of the safeguarding partners. So in Tower Hamlets, we've taken the view that all partners are relevant, and that's the position we're taking. Okay, so we're going to change our name to Tower Hamlets Safeguarding Partnership. We will have an executive board, which actually we've had for over 12 months now, and it reflects the current changes that's coming up. We'll continue to have an operational group, relevant partners, and the biggest difference I think will be we're going to do away with subgroups and working groups, and we're going to work in a more thematic based work. So in that way you can be involved and everyone can be involved from a position of interest, because often how many people have been in a room talking about something that doesn't mean anything to you, so hopefully we'll be shifting away from that. There'll be ongoing scrutiny. We have our own boards. We've got political scrutiny. Serious case reviews provide scrutiny. And the biggest, I suppose, focus on all of us will be the joint inspectorates of the joint targeted area inspection. So that will be quite thematic based. So, for example, they could be a thematic review on the way in which we deal with neglect. And so the CQC will be involved, the police inspectorate, Ofsted, etc. So it'll be shared. And the other big change is really around serious case reviews. And I don't want to say too much because there'll be more information coming out. But essentially, what we've got now is we have a national panel who will decide if there's going to be a serious case review. Whereas previously, it was locally we made that decision. Now it's this national panel. They will decide if a serious case needs to be done if there is national learning. So things like, for example, the big inquiries, Rochdale, Rotherham, they're the type that will be, there'll be plenty of national learning, so they will be serious case reviews. Locally, we will be doing local learning reviews, so that will be slightly different, and it's just basically essentially to make sure that we learn on our, in terms of our own practice. So the national panel is called the Child Safeguarding Practice Review Panel. If we decide not to do a serious case review, we have to provide justification to the Secretary of State why we're not doing a review. So there's quite a lot of, it's not an easy process to get through. We will continue to publish and we'll continue to disseminate